Welcome. Today we're going to be going over survivor tips to help you outplay the killer in style. The topics will range from ways to maximize items in the game, how to get more reliable stuns, preventing 3 gens, and many more. There will be timestamps in the descriptions for you to skip around. But that's enough of me talking. Let's get right into it. The first item we're going to talk about today is the Ancient Book. Mabel starts off with this item and it gives you both a short period of sprint boost and invisibility. Now, a lot of people like to use this to escape from killers, and it works a lot of the time, but if you're going against an experienced player, they will be able to track you. There are other creative ways to use this item for its invis properties. It's harder for people to see you when you're standing still, so it's great for assisting teammates out of chairs against killers who like to camp, as well as doing escape doors while invisible. Just be sure to pick your moments carefully because it is a very situational tactic when using this item in such a creative way. The next item we're going to talk about is the energy drink. Chris starts off with this item and it gives you the ability to do everything quicker. That's right, it doesn't only give you the ability to run like a track athlete, but it lets you do generators, save teammates, revive fallen teammates, and escape doors slightly quicker. So stacking this with a tool repair kit can really help you do a generator faster. But choose how you use it wisely because at the end of the day, it's best for outrunning killers. My only tip is do not hold down the sprinting option with it. You already run fast enough just by itself. So once the effects of the energy wears out, you still have your sprint stamina to use if needed. Now we're going to talk about the camera flash, which is another strong item. Isaac starts off with this item, and once flashed directly in the killer's face, it stuns their movement as well as blinds them. Experienced killers will face the other way when they know a survivor is turned around facing them. I suggest using this item when the killer least expects it, either around corners or doors. This item is also great for saving teammates who are being carried to the chair. And if you're feeling really gutsy and you know you're almost done with a generator or an escape door, you can flash a killer who's about to come at you and finish those doors quickly. Next up is the med kit. It is a very simple yet strong ability in the game. At the moment, only Tega and Kate start off with this item. You get about 10 HP for every charge you use of it. My only tip for this is sharing is caring. If you know a teammate is low in HP, just drop your med kit around them for them to use. This will make the killer's job a lot harder the next time they try to chair that survivor. Also, you know a survivor is very low in HP when they start to breathe deeply and moan. By giving them a med kit, they can heal up and no longer moan, which is something that the killer can use to track survivors through audio cues. The next item we're going to talk about is the yellow jar. It's another fantastic item and currently no character starts off with this item. It blinds killers for a longer time than a camera flash, but it does not stun them, so be careful when throwing this item. My tip is to find a sweet spot to use this item. You don't want to be too close to the killer because then they can still get a hit off of you, but you don't want to be too far away to a point where you cannot hit the killer with the item because you have to throw the jar. Find that sweet spot where you can utilize this item to its maximal potential. There's no way we're going to forget about pick locks either. Typically they're used to escape from chairs without the help of a teammate, but they also can be used on escape doors. Basically, pick locks can slightly speed up the time needed to open up an escape door. If you pair this well with an energy drink, then you should be able to open up an escape door in no time. And let's not forget about pain pills. They heal you over time once activated. These are great to use when being chased. They can extend the amount of time that the killer is wasting chasing you. Also frustrate them and confuse them to a point where they are wondering how you're still alive. This also gives your teammates more time to work on generators. So be sure to use those voice comms. Helmets are a great defensive item. They allow you to take any one direct hit from a killer. Currently, there is no animation that shows on the killer's side if their hit actually connects, so it can sometimes leave them confused as to why you never took any damage to begin with. No real tip here, just think of it as a get out of jail free card for whenever you do get hit by a killer. The last item we're going to talk about in this section is the jar of glue. Once thrown and hit on the killer, it slows them greatly for a shorter period of time. However, killers can negate this by using one of their chase abilities if they have one. So my first tip is pick your moments wisely, especially if you know a killer's chase ability is on cooldown. Another tip with this item is that if you're ever full on items, it'd typically be your first item that you drop, just because of how situational it is and its impact on killers. If you made it this far into the video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. I'll be doing more tips and tricks videos on Propnight in the future. There's also a playlist in the description for you to check out past and future videos on ways to get better at Propnight. Or you can subscribe as well so you don't miss those videos too. This section is all about stunning the killer as a prop. Currently, the best way to stun a killer is to directly hit them on the top of their head. Not the forehead, not the back of the head, not the side, but the very top, as a large prop with a flat surface. It's even better if you rotate by using the L shift key. Keep in mind that you cannot stun a killer while they're doing an animation, such as breaking a generator or placing a survivor in a chair. Also, if a killer has been stunned either from a camera or from a door, they have about 3 to 4 seconds before they can get stunned again, so be mindful of that as well. I got this next tip about stunning killers as a prop from Judge Binos. I'm not too sure if he makes YouTube videos anymore, but feel free to check out his channel after you're done watching my video, because YouTube really does care about retention numbers. Judge Binos and friends were able to hop into a match and discover this. Basically, if a killer is moving backwards, then the back of their head is stunnable. If a killer is moving forwards, then the forehead is stunnable. If the killer is moving side to side, then whatever side that the killer is moving to makes them stunnable. As you can see in the video, the killer is only stunnable once they start moving backwards. But when they are moving forward, they are not stunned from the back, only when they're walking backwards. Also keep in mind that ping may play a factor, meaning that the killer might be moving backwards on their screen, but on your screen they might be moving a different direction. Just as a word of caution. I know the times that I've played as killer, whenever I back up and someone is trying to stun my forehead, they are unable to. But at the end of the day, when in doubt, just go for the very top of their head as a long, big, flat prop. And rotating helps as well. Next, we're going to be talking about ways to prevent being 3 hard stuck, or for my DBD fanatics, a 3-gen. A 3-gen is whenever the last 3 prop machines on the map are very close to each other, to a point where the killer can rotate to all 3 very quickly, thus making it hard for the survivors to do them. My tip for preventing a 3-gen is to always think to yourself, do the middle gen. Either if it's the gen in the middle of the map, or a gen that's in between 2 other. For example, on the farm there's a prop machine in the red barn, and then another prop machine right outside of the red barn, and one in the long white tents. Doing the one that's right outside of the red barn can really help you in the future, especially since the farm is very survivor friendly, and typically the only time people lose is if they 3-gen themselves. If you like that tip about the farm, I don't mind doing an in-depth video on each map that will go over which generators are the best to do first, looping locations, coin rotations, excellent hiding spots, and much more. Just let me know down in the comments below. If a 3-gen does happen, run around to collect items and to annoy the killer as a team. This segues perfectly onto the next 2 things that we'll talk about. The first being communication. Communication is huge if you want to work as a team and to annoy the killer as much as possible. If you're someone who's very shy and you don't like using a mic, or possibly you just don't have a mic either, there are in-game character voice lines you can use. I'm being chased voice line is very important because it lets your teammates know that the killer is not after them. And while being chased, try not to lead the killer to your teammates as well. And as another tip for communication, you can switch into team chat by pressing Y on your keyboard. And you can also press M to switch your voice chats. But be careful because sometimes these things are bugs, so be sure to test it before you say anything important. Now we're going to talk about doors. Doors are an excellent way to stun killers as well as waste their time. A word of caution though, if you're going against a very experienced imposter who knows what they're doing, doors may be useless at times. Mainly for the fact that imposters can turn into small props and jump through windows, leaving doors practically useless. You can leave the door open and then play a game of chicken with the imposter while you run on either side of the door. You might be able to get a stun off of them, but you will most likely take damage in the process. With that being said, my next tip is to make sure you open doors when they're not in use. If you see a door that's closed, just open them so you can use them in the future. You don't want a killer seeing a closed door because smart killers will just break them before a survivor can use them in the future. So if you are able to pull off a stun on the killer with a door, be sure to reopen it before you run away. But if you're in a sticky situation and you don't have time to play those games, you can look down while crossing a door to close it. Therefore, you don't have to waste any time looking back to close the door. And while we're on the topic of stunning, try your best not to stun as a prop or with a door when you're low on HP. There will be at times where you and the killer will trade, with you being able to pull off the stun but still being knocked down due to you having low HP. So pick your moments wisely. The next tip I want to talk about is getting items. Items really help level the playing field against killer. And you can get them from either prop boxes or from areas where your teammates have fallen. But you can also get coins where your teammates have fallen as well. And there are prop coin spawns throughout the map as well. So be sure to collect them when you can. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it to the end, comment down "I survived a Propnight survivor's tips and tricks" video down in the comments below. I'll be coming out with more Propnight tips and tricks and guide videos late in the future as well. And there is also a playlist if you haven't checked it out either. So till next time, stay safe and I'll see you later.